talked about when it comes to Ripple and XRP is disrupting the cross-border payments market. This is an industry that is worth trillions on top of trillions of dollars. We've talked about it over the past few years. $156 trillion projected to be $250 trillion in just the next 2 years. And fintech companies like Ripple are shaking this market up using blockchain. Now, for years, we've talked about it, right? RippleNet with on-demand liquidity, tapping into XRP, replacing Nostro Vostro accounts that have $27 trillion tied to them. And, this is going to basically target all the money. Obviously, over time, things have changed, right? I think that a lot of people have come to the realization that it's not just going to be one big player tapping in to this cross-border payment market and settling every single transaction. No, it's going to be multiple players. And stablecoins seem as though they're going to be the big solution for this. Now, you might be thinking immediately, well, Nick, doesn't that make XRP useless? Absolutely not. I feel like a lot of people in this space want to push that idea because, again, we have been noticing so much FUD around XRP. When it comes to stablecoins, let's just take ROUSD for an example, because we do know that Ripple, if we just open up this guide real quick, right? We could see that they want to position ROUSD as a big solution for this. I mean, this just breaks down, the cross-border payment market. But then here we have the crypto payments, right? Cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, and blockchain-powered payment rails can offer near instant secure cross-border payments, often with lower cost and fewer intermediaries. Now, they also talk about how big this market is. They're targeting, the B2B market specifically here, which is, again, trillions on top of trillions of dollars. Even if we go up to the top real quick, just to show you guys, here we have last year, the B2B cross-border payments market hit 31.6 trillion. That figure is projected to grow 58% to reach $50 trillion by 2032. So it's a huge market. And if we go all the way down here, they do talk about the challenges. Then they also talk about cross-border payments with Ripple. Now, again, this is addressing Ripple payments. It leverages blockchain and digital assets such as XRP and stablecoins such as ROUSD to provide businesses with a powerful solution for quickly, reliably, and affordably sending and receiving stablecoin payments across borders. So they want to position ROUSD as the cross-border payment stablecoin, essentially in this case. And then XRP and the XRP ledger are the underlying rail that these stablecoins move over, in this case, ROUSD. So everyone that was saying, oh, well, ROUSD makes XRP, obsolete. It's not even needed. The XRP ledger is the network that ROUSD will move over, and XRP will be the bridge currency between ROUSD and additional stablecoins in these regions, because we do know that every single fiat currency will be tokenized on chain in stablecoin form, but also even XRP is the gas token that every transaction over the XRP ledger, it's the gas token for those transactions. It's the settlement currency for those transactions. So XRP's use and XRP's volume and value comes from the use case on the network. And in this case, it could be cross-border payment settlements. If we're thinking about how big the cross-border payment market is, this could lead to a tsunami of value and volume moving over the XRP ledger, demanding so much use of XRP, making the value of XRP surge drastically. This is where those multiplier effects come into place, where, if we think about it, like a lot of people talked about XRP going to $50, $100, or even more. Yeah, that doesn't happen without a tremendous amount of use of the network. Cross-border payments could be that big use case. Now, it's not just going to be Ripple with ROUSD and XRP dominating the cross-border payment market. We know that is, it just isn't going to be the case, right? We know that there's going to be multiple winners. Stellar's a great name to, place into the basket. Same with even Hedera as well. So if we're thinking about that, what percentage of the cross-border payment market is needed to, cause XRP to go crazy? I mean, even just 1% could be enough to push the value of XRP drastically to the upside. But this is why we talk about cross-border payments. This is why we talk about these markets, because these markets are absolutely massive, and Ripple seems very well positioned to target this $250 trillion market by 2027. Here we have it from ACI, right? The value of cross-border payments is expected to reach 250 trillion by 2027. I mean, it's one of the fastest growing segments within the global payments ecosystem, and Ripple is at the forefront of it. Even if we go back to 2023, Ripple joined the BIS task force for cross-border payments. This is to make sure that those G20 goals around enhancing cross-border payments are met. And by the way, the BIS's CPMI group also has Swift on it. It's crazy to think that Swift and Ripple at one point in time are not going to come together to work together on making sure that cross-border payments are more efficient, utilizing stablecoins and blockchain as the underlying rail. Now, I bring up all of this because if we go all the way back to 2022, there was a lot of speculation between Thunes and Ripple partnering at some point in time, right? Because we do know that this bank, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce this name because I'll probably just butcher it. We do know that this partnership or this announcement did have Ripple being the connector here, right? Thunes is connected to this bank via Ripple, the leader in enterprise and blockchain solutions, and its global financial technology RippleNet. The connection to RippleNet and Thunes will allow this bank's customers to receive transfers from around the world initiated through the Thunes network in a matter of a few seconds. Now, for thinking about this, right, this was the biggest connection that we had back to Thunes. And we've always talked about, Thunes being a partner of Ripple's, but we never had clear confirmation until yesterday. Here we have the big announcement. This is from Payments. Thunes Payments and Ripple team to bolster cross-border payments. This is a huge confirmation and a huge announcement, because if we're going to the about section of Thunes, we have Thunes is the smart superhighway to move money around the world. We have built a proprietary global network of direct connections to local payment brands for an improved payment experience. We connect the old systems with the new, allowing businesses and consumers to instantly send and accept payments anywhere in the world in any payment method. And here we have, a few, just a little bit of infographics around Thunes. Right, they want to connect every corner of the world and make the global economy accessible to all. Here's who they serve: banks, money transfer operators, digital merchants, creator economy, platforms and marketplaces, payment service providers, mobile wallets. And then their board of directors you have here as well. Some pretty big names, nothing too crazy there. You also have observers here from like Visa and a few other companies. Here are their investors as well. Visa is one of the biggest players behind them. And if we go over here to their network, this is one cross-border payment network. We have built a proprietary global network for an improved and more connected cross-border payment experience. They have 130 plus payout countries, 80 plus currencies, 3 billion mobile wallet accounts connected, and 4 billion bank accounts. You're talking about 7 billion accounts tied to Thunes. Guys, think about that number for a second. 7 billion accounts connected. Now, think about how many payments, how many transactions, how much money is moving between these 7 billion accounts, and think about the number of transactions. Like, that is just crazy to me. Those transactions could soon be moving over digital networks. And in this case, it could be moving over Ripple payments with ROUSD and XRP being tapped in. Then we also have their network down here. You can see all of the, this is basically just connecting the entire world. I mean, this is just insane. And then here we have what makes Thunes network unique. We have real-time, transparent, robust. By the way, they are processing 180 million transactions per year. We don't know what the value is. Scalable as well, direct, inclusive. And then here we have the networks that are connected, right? These are some of the biggest players that are connected: PayPal, Visa, Grab, Deliveroo, D360, Uber Eats as well. And if we're thinking about these names that Ripple is now connected to, I mean, guys, these are the networks of tomorrow. These are the players that are powering such significant adoption around the world through, fast-paced payments. So the fact that Thunes is now confirmed as a partner tells us that, guess what? Ripple can be tied into all of these businesses here, right? You have MoneyGram here, you have Visa, Western Union. I mean, I know that we've always talked about MoneyGram with Stellar, how, they left Ripple and went over to Stellar after the lawsuit. Well, guess what? Now you have them connected to Thunes, which is now connected to Ripple, and they are teaming up to bolster cross-border payments. I mean, this is a huge deal. I mean, this is a massive announcement and a massive statement for the cross-border payment industry that, guess what? These players like Ripple are now coming for their lunch. because anything that these traditional cross-border payment players are doing, blockchain does better. And if we actually look into this announcement itself, we have over here the announcement, right? So they just talk about how they've been building on their successful collaboration established in 2020. The partnership will improve the customer payout experience, further streamline global money movement, and broaden payout reach across key markets. As demand for digital finance services grows, Thunes has integrated blockchain and digital asset technologies to enhance its direct-to-global network by leveraging Thunes' proprietary network with Ripple's blockchain-powered payment solutions, which there you guys have it, right? Blockchain is being tapped in, which is why I say like these new players like Ripple are going to eat up the cross-border payment market in a big way. Any player that is stuck in the traditional way, these blockchain-based players are going to eat their lunch because what blockchain does is just better than the traditional way. The two companies are driving more efficient and accessible cross-border payments for financial institutions and businesses around the world. Ripple's enterprise customers can withdraw funds more easily in new currencies and countries, further enhancing their global payout or payment capabilities. Now, we also have down here that Thunes ensures dependable real-time payouts in local currencies through its direct global network and plays a key role in facilitating last-mile delivery in regions with limited banking infrastructure. The partnership will enhance the reach and efficiency of its network, providing businesses and end users with fast, secure, and accessible financial services. Thunes is also utilizing Ripple Payments to enhance its Smart X Treasury system. So again, this is clear confirmation that Ripple Payments is being tapped in a big way. And we have a few quotes down here. We have from the president and COO at Thunes, members across both the traditional finance space and digital asset ecosystem connect with Thunes. We are in a prime position to bridge these two worlds and drive the future of digital assets, and our alliance with Ripple underscores this. By supporting real-time payments or real-time settlement and deep local integrations, we are enabling digital asset companies to deliver seamless, compliant, and accessible cross-border payments at scale. Then also the managing director, Asia Pacific at Ripple, this is Fiona Murray. We are committed to reshaping the future of global payments through blockchain technology. Our partnership with Thunes accelerates our shared mission to improve the efficiency, speed, and security of global payments. By combining Thunes' extensive and trusted direct-to-global network with Ripple's digital asset infrastructure, we are enhancing payment speed, accessibility, and compliance across regions. This partnership not only facilitates seamless, low-cost transactions, but also supports the growing demand for innovative blockchain-powered financial solutions globally. So again, this is just massive. By the way, a few numbers down here. They do have over 7 billion mobile wallets and bank accounts worldwide, as well as 15 billion cards via more than 320 different payment methods. Guys, this is a huge, huge announcement for Ripple. It's a huge announcement for Ripple, and it's a huge announcement for the entire space. This is exactly what, this is what we've been waiting for after that lawsuit. Right? These are the announcements that we were just waiting to see go public. And by the way, if we're thinking about Thunes, let's go back to 2021. They partnered up with Finastra to offer alternative payment rails for banks. Those alternative payment rails means blockchain, digital asset rails. Finastra has 8,600 customers. And if we're thinking about Finastra, right? 8,600 customers. These are all major banks, right? We know that these are major banks. They actually have 90 of the world's top 100 banks tied to them, as you guys can see here. And if we're thinking about Finastra, we go all the way back to this announcement with Thunes and we look at how this all works. Here we have the partner client on the left side, which is banks, corporates, other financial institutions, the connectivity with Thunes. This is through the Fusion Total messaging. And then on the right side, we have Thunes offering access to 125 plus markets. Obviously, these numbers have grown significantly over time. But this reminds me back to when Finastra announced their partnership with Ripple back in October of 2019. And if you remember, this is to bring blockchain technology to Finastra's banking customers. They're 90 out of the top 100 world's, this is the world's largest banks out there, 90 out of the top 100. And this means that Ripple's blockchain-based technology can be tapped in through Finastra's platform. Now, if we're thinking about this was back in 2019, the same stack that they're using here is the same stack with Ripple, right? On the left side, you have the back office for banks, which, we already know that the underlying rails will not be seen. Nobody will know about blockchain technology because it's going to be in the back office. It's not going to be seen at all through the UI. But then you have the Finastra Ripple connectivity. This is RippleNet in the cloud or Ripple Payments at this point. And on the right side, you have the other banks. This is connecting banks to banks. These use cases, these announcements are still in play today. A lot of people will say there's no way that they are, but they are. All of these things still matter. this is why I keep saying that. Oh yeah, this was back in 2019, so it's old news. It doesn't really matter today. It still is a very big thing to focus on. Just like the Thunes announcement, right? If we go back to this announcement back in 2022, right? This is 3 years ago. Oh, it must not matter at all, right? Well, guess what? It does, because in 2025, 3 years later, they become a public partnership. This is huge because, again, we connect the dots. We always look at the dots. We connect them because what happened a few years ago might be old to some people out there and to the retail sector, but to these major enterprises and institutional players and these organizations, it's not old news. It's still active. It's still in play, and they're still tied to Ripple. They're still working with Ripple. That's why we can't just write off these announcements. We can't just say, oh yeah, it's a couple years old, so it's just old news. Nobody cares about it. No, we still need to focus on it. So this is a huge statement. Ripple just made a massive statement. This is a huge, huge announcement. And again, it means that RLUSD is going to be tied to this network. RLUSD is going to be tied to it, which means that XRP and the XRPL will also be tied to it. Because whatever good for RLUSD is also good for XRP and the XRPL. I've talked about this on multiple occasions. Stablecoin adoption, stablecoin growth is very good for the underlying networks in this space because it creates demand for the network, which means it creates demand for the gas token that's settling all those transactions. That's the power for these networks. So I'm very excited about this. Let me know what you guys think.